me click it. I think we can start.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Magnus, and I'm the CTO for a company called Lokalise. And we are doing a translation management system, doing translation between languages like English, Italian, Spanish, and so on. We had some confusion about that yesterday where people thought it was computer languages, but we're talking about human languages today. So I'm honored to be here today on stage together with Tomasz Kryg, who is the lead iOS engineer at Toyota. And together we will tell the story about how Toyota localizes at scale and how they seamlessly migrated over to Lokalise to continue having millions of users with a great, consistent and localized experience. So over to you, Thomas. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I started with Toyota like 6 years ago. Yeah, 2019 it was. We started as a smaller team of 10 iOS and 10 Android developers on front-end. The team scaled over time, of course, so I became the lead iOS developer, and now I do actually all the things that other developers don't like to do, of course. So it's like a core frameworks production, and that's why I started the Lokalise implementation, actually, because this was some framework that someone needs to do, and I was the first person to catch it. So, yeah, that's the story.
So Thomas, I know you're still waiting for the final green light from the business side to go live with this new localization solution. And before we start jumping into talking about this new way of localizing together with Lokalise, could you tell us a little bit how you've been doing it at Toyota up until now?
Yes. There is a slide of long path, how the localization currently works in Toyota. So it's pretty a mess, actually. So we need to, firstly, we need to identify a content, right? So there is a PO who defines what we want to display on the app. So he creates a key, he defines the content. After that, this content is sent to copywriters, so they can approve if this English translation makes any sense. When it's approved, we send it to translators. We support like 40, 50 languages, so the translators team is really huge from each country that we support. So it takes a lot of time to do this, and there is a lot of people, so it's really mess to track it down because we use email chains, we use Excel files. It's funny to say about it, but it's a mess, and that's why we needed a solution to make it simpler, to somehow track the process that we maintain here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a situation that we know far too well. In fact, Lokalise was created just to solve that very problem by our founder, Nick. Nick was also an engineer, and he was tired of having all of these manual steps in the localization and translation processes, all this copy-pasting between places, sending Excel spreadsheets around to get translated and then manually putting them into your code repository. And he thought there must be a better way of doing all of this. And actually, one of Lokalise's key features that we have today is automated workflows. So you automatically set up in the platform to import your content from your repository, if it's in GitHub or GitLab. Whenever it changes, it's automatically going to notify the translators to see that there is something new to translate, and then after you can automatically export it back to you, do a new release of your code. No more spreadsheets required. But Thomas, could you tell us a little bit about what triggered Toyota to take the decision to move away from the old solution?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue was the management of all that stuff, managing that stuff. As I said, we had an email chain, which is really hard to track progress from 40, 50 translators to check, oh, is Albanian language already translated, or it's Polish is already finished, or it's completed, or it's in progress. So it was really hard. That's why we chose Lokalise, actually, because we can easily create tasks and we can create one task for each language, so 50 tasks, probably. For example, for Polish, we create a task for, 40 keys. We send it to the translators, and we just wait for them. When they finish, they click that everything is completed, everything is copyrighted, checked, reviewed. We just get a notification that it's done, and that's it. We can deploy the app to the production.
That sounds great. Well, let's dive into the migration a little bit. So Thomas, with such a large user base, I think you mentioned millions of users and multiple brands to manage. What were the biggest challenges?
Yeah, as you said, 2.3 million users. It's is pretty much. So the biggest challenge actually even before the Lokalise, with the old translation platform that we used, was to support several brands, because we support Toyota, we support Lexus, and we actually have one code base for these apps. So these are exactly the same apps, but with different theming, different colors. So the issue here is that, okay, the keys should be probably the same, right? But one of the keys, as you can see on the presentation, or maybe you don't, but on the top, for example, you have with the My Toyota for Toyota, but for Lexus is with the Lexus Link Plus. So, but it's the same app. So how the key can have two values? That's weird. That's not normal. So what we actually did on Lokalise, we created three projects in total. So one project contains all the common keys, like sign in, delete, cancel, hello, that kind of stuff. And then we have branded projects. So for example, this translation from the top with My Toyota or Lexus Link, one translation is in one Toyota project, and the second one is in Lexus project. When the app opens, it fetches all the general translations with Toyota, for example. So then the key is used for Toyota only, so you can see My Toyota in My Toyota app.
That's very nice. But when you did this migration, how did you make sure that you didn't disrupt your users or the other engineers working at Toyota?
Yeah, this is a very important question, actually. As we support 2 million users, we don't want to stop the app on production, so they still need to use it. So actually what we did already several years ago, when we were implementing the old translation platform, we implemented an interface. So yeah, simple as that, just a wrapper for the old solution. And thanks to that, when Lokalise came up, we just needed to implement this interface. So it was like 1, 2, 3 weeks of work for one person, actually, with testing, with reviewing, with everything. And thanks to that, we could use a strategy pattern, actually, to switch the implementation live. We have a feature flags also from some provider. So what we are waiting for is actually we are waiting for the business decision. So they will tell, OK, it's a green light, go. I can just switch the flag, and the users will seamlessly, I mean, they won't even notice that the translation platform switched. So we just switched the implementation live, actually. So yeah, this is how we solve the problem. And one important thing regarding wrapper is that also developers didn't have to be involved, because thanks to that wrapper, they still use the interface, the protocol, the API that we prepared, that my team prepared. So it was seamless for the users, and it was seamless for developers. So this is very important, two things.
That's a really neat solution with that wrapper. And I think that's a great example of how the flexibility of Lokalise can help you reduce the risk when you do a migration like this. So now switching topic a little bit to over-the-air updates. I think you all heard about over-the-air updates, and it's something we do at Lokalise as well, how to push content directly out to the end-user applications without having to pass with a new buyer, new release in an app store, obviously significantly reducing the time to get the updated translations out. So Tomasz, could you tell us a little bit when you did this, did that impact the way you do your applications and how you use over-the-air updates?
Yes, so I will present in a moment how it works currently in Lokalise, but before we also had an OTA update, actually. It was implemented by our own, so it was a custom OTA update. We used some delta mechanisms to, when the user opens the app, delta mechanisms was fetching the translations and was checking if something has changed. If anything has changed, then we actually updated only the translation that changed. So we had already that solution. What we actually did after the migration, we just switched the implementation to Lokalise OTA, which is like one line of code. So it was more removing the code than adding, actually.
It's really nice. Could you show us what that looked like?
Yeah. So let me show you the phone first. So I will open Toyota app quickly. Oh yeah. Okay, here's my Toyota app. Yeah, perfect. For example, let's change the account section. So on the top, you see the count. Let's say that the business analyst would like to change it. No worries. Let's find that translation in the project. It's in the general project because it doesn't have anything with a brand. Yeah, that's this account screen title. Let me change it maybe to mon compte. Let's do it like that. I'll save it. When I will open an app, just to showcase you, once more, nothing has changed, and that's good, because to change it, we need to create a package. So if someone even accidentally changes a string, we don't want to push it still. So to do this, we will go to the tab with, download. And we will create not here, sorry. I need to go to the Toyota project, because we need to push the Toyota translations, actually. And yes, I will choose iOS SDK. We support Android as well, but I will present it on iOS for now. We changed the French language, so let it be as is. There is a lot of advanced settings that I won't explain, actually. But what is very important is we need to add this general project with common keys to have that account also updated. I will build it. And now, yes, the bundle is published. It's on production, as you can see. And let me check the app again. So when the users open the app once more, as you can see, the translation changed, and we didn't need to do any App Store update or Google Play Store update. It just, like that, it just works.
That's really nice. So back to the migration again. Could you walk us through the migration process step by step? How did you get your content from your existing solution and move it into Lokalise, to start localizing?
Yeah, so it was not so easy job, actually, in that case, because the old translation platform was a server database. We had a solution to export all the translations, or the keys, or the languages from this database. And we got like 50 files, one file per language. These files were divided by sections as well, like account, subscriptions, FAQ, for example. All sections were like, I don't know, 70 sections probably, or 80 sections. OK, so then we created a parser script. So we were able to take, for example, I don't know, English language, one file, big file of English language, and divide it to 70 files, smaller, divided by section. So for example, FAQ, English, account, English. So we had everything divided per section, per language. So it's like 3,000 or 4,000 files. This is the script that we created. Why? Because then we could upload these smaller files into Lokalise. For example, for, I don't know, account, 45 times, 45 languages for account. We will upload 45 files, and we add the tag for them as account. So actually, we migrated sections from the old translation platform to tags in the new translation platform, which is Lokalise. It was more work for us, actually, but it will be much easier for business, because they can easily filter out the translations that they want to see. OK, let's say I'm a PO, and I would like to see only the translations regarding biometrics, for example. No issue. You have tag for that. You can filter all the biometric translations. So this is why we did this.
Very good to hear about that. And I think earlier you also mentioned training as a very important part of this migration and change management. Could you tell us a little bit more how you approached that? How did you train all your cross-functional teams and teach them about Lokalise and how to use Lokalise?
Yeah, so training was only important for business side, actually, because as I said, developers didn't need to do anything. They just still use the same interface, so it's still the same API. They didn't need to change or train. But from the business side, yes, because actually we won't use emails and Excels in the future, or the old translation platform, the database. We will use Lokalise. So this was hard, because there are a lot of people, right? Like hundreds of POs, PMs, BAs, that they just, and translators, copywriters, reviewers, a lot of people that they need to know the new tool. So we could create a meeting, but it would be very long and boring, I guess. So we created small, short videos just to present, hey, if you would like to add a key, you have a video here, like 1 minute video, so you can see how to add a key, how to translate it, how to push it. So bunch of small videos for business side, so they can learn how to use it, and they won't actually bother me to do this, so they can do this by themselves.
That's a really smart move with the videos to show everything. And as a complement to that, we also have what we call the Lokalise Academy, which is our repository of in-depth training material for developers, for translators, or for localization managers, where you can find everything about the platform and have also videos going through step by step how to use the platform and how to do localization. So, good. I think you can go to the next one.
Yeah, sure.
Before we go to the end, would you like to show us what this looks like, if end to end, and how you can actually do the localization?
Yes, sure. Let me dive to the. Maybe I'll go to the general project once more. And let's say that I'm a PO and I would like to add a new key. I don't know. Greeting audience, let's say, title. I need to put a base language value, which is of course English. Greetings to you, let's say. I don't need any automations for now. I need a platform, so iOS and Android will be supported here. I will create a tag for that. Let's say it will be a greeting tag. It's a new tag. There is nothing like that. And let me create it. So we get a new key. Perfect. It's on the top. Greetings to you. But it's empty. When I will go to multilingual to see, okay, so we have an English translation, but everything else is empty. And okay, what's the task? We need to create a task for translators. So hey guys, come here and translate this for me. For that, I need to go to tasks. I create a task. And yeah, I can select who needs to do this. So it can be automatic translation, which is really, really useful. You can just put it, you can just send it to AI and it will translate to all the languages automatically. Then, of course, it would be nice to send it to translators just to review it, right? If it's really correct. But let's go with the translate manually. So we will assign contributors for that. Greetings feature. Let's call it like that. We can set a due date. So, okay, you have time till tomorrow. Good luck. Yes, and this is also very important. You need to select which keys actually would like to translate. So I can select, okay, all the untranslated keys. This is important, but we still have 3,800 keys. There are some different keys as well, so let me select the tag with greeting. This is also interesting because we can give tags per release. So we can tag all the keys for, I don't know, release 2.13, for example. So it can be easily filtered by release. Now we have one key. I hope it's the correct one. Source language is English. That's good. And let's say we would like to translate it to Belgium. Belgium is a weird country. It supports 2 languages, so no worries. We support that as well. And yeah, let me create a task. When the task is created, contributors from Belgium get an email notification with an information, hey, guy, or guys, girls, you have translation to be done. So they also are directed here to tasks. I'm part of Belgium group, actually. So I see, okay, there is a greeting feature task. And I need to translate it to French and Dutch. Okay, let's see what's there. I see normally translators from, for example, Bulgaria. They won't see the Croatian or Czech Republic translation. Of course, it doesn't make sense. I'm as an admin, actually, I have access everywhere, so I just see everything. But I see a orange dot here. Okay, so this is probably my translation to be translated. I don't know Dutch, so I hope it's a correct one. Save and complete. Okay, good. I still have the French to be done. Let's look for French, which is here. Perfect. And let me also Google Translate it. It's quickly. Let me save it. And let me mark as completed. Okay, good. I have 2 tasks completed. I can also mark it as done. Yep. That's finished. And that's also finished. The task closes. And me or PO or BA who created that key gets a notification that, hey, the task is finished. We can proceed. So it's very convenient, really, to manage. We can also send it to copywriters. We can send it to reviewers. We can mark translations as verified, as reviewed. So it's a nice tool because we have everything in one place and easily accessible for everybody. So that's good.
That's really great to see that happening in reality. So good. Thank you very much, Thomas, for sharing all of this. Before we come to the end, could you share us a little bit more, if you would have 3 tips for the audience, if they are looking to change localization or implement localization for the first time, what would you share with that?
So I have 3 tips, actually, as you can see here. So the first is a technical tip, actually, for developers. Probably you are aware already about that, but always wrap third-party tools. I mean, if it's possible, maybe not always, but if it's possible, please wrap it. Use, I don't know, decorator pattern or facade pattern to wrap it, and to use only the API outside, so the interface for that. You never know if it will be needed. For us, it was needed, so good that we have it. But I know it may take more time, but please do this. It will be needed. The second thing is, yeah, don't remove the translation key or keys from the platform. So it is more a translation management tip. Why? I mean, normally it should nothing happen. It shouldn't happen often, at least. But even if you will remove it, probably nothing will happen. But it's just risky, because if you will remove the key, you will push the new update, but some person would not update the app. You may have some trouble. So just don't remove. It's safe. And the third tip is for business side, plan. I know it's obvious, but thanks to that we planned a lot, like months before the task was even started. We omitted a lot of issues, a lot of troubles. We could create, for example, that parsing script like months before we migrated, so we were ready and prepared for what's coming next. So plan.
And if you would have the opportunity to go back in time and you could do all of this again, what would you do differently?
I think I would plan even earlier, probably, because I think I would teach business faster. I think this is most important, because now actually we wait for business side, so they can learn how it works, how to add a key, how to migrate from the old solution to the new one. So this is always a pain, and I think I would start this much earlier, even before the development phase. So then it could be much faster than it was currently, I think.
That's a good advice. And any last piece of advice for any engineers or developers here that are going to do this kind of migration or start implementing localization?
Oh man, you're crushing me here. Keep it simple, I think. Yeah, just keep the thing simple, wrap everything. If it's possible for you, keep it stupid simple. That's my motto, I think. It should be simple. If it's simple, then it's easy to fix, easy to migrate, easy to change. So keep it simple.
I think that's a great advice. So thank you, Tomasz. Thank you very much for sharing your journey with us. And thank you very much for listening as well. And if you want to learn more about localization or Lokalise, or come discuss your particular use case that you have in front of you, come to our booth. It's 8F, right next to the Neo car over there. If you want to test Lokalise, we have a free trial where you get full access to all the features that you have in the platform. We also have a free plan if you want to use it for an extended period of time to test the platform. You can use the QR code here if you want to find all of that information, or go to our website, lokalise.com, and you'll find everything you need to get started. So thank you very much again for listening, and thank you, Tomasz, for sharing this.
Thank you for having me here. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you need. I'll be happy to support you as well. Thank you, Magnus.